Hey, thanks for joining us here today.
Thank you, David.
Well, my pleasure. Why don't we just start off today by you telling us a little bit about yourself,
Sure.
where you're from, maybe like what made you join the military?
Yeah, my name is Michael Steven Harter. Steven after my father, my middle name after my father. I'm from Watertown, New York originally. Small town in northern New York, by Fort Drum.
I do know it.
It's where Lake Ontario and the St. Lawrence River meet, and it's beautiful up there in the summertime, but it's terrible in the wintertime. I joined the military I joined the Navy Seabees to get out of town, and I could have had a job as a working a paper mill in Watertown or outside of Watertown, a place called Champion. My uncle lived there, or lived and worked in Champion, but I had no desire to live there. Just wanted to get out of town. It's a real small town, so yeah, it was good. Best move I ever made, getting out of town.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I lived up there for quite some time.
Is that right?
Yeah, well, Liverpool, Syracuse.
Sure.
Yeah, I know the
Small
area.
world.
Yes,
Sure.
yeah, and so what'd you do? What was your, what branch were you in?
Navy Sea. I was a U.S.
Yeah, the
Navy
CB,
Seabee.
right. So
Yep,
what
not a
was-
SEAL, a Seabee.
So what was your
So
rating? in
my rating was a builder. I was a BU-1. I retired as an E6, builder first class, petty officer, and I was really happy about that because a lot of guys get hung up if they don't make chief, which is E7. I wasn't one of those guys. I enjoyed working with the troops. I had a lot of great guys I worked with. I don't say they worked for me. I say they worked with me, and great guys. And I really enjoyed working. I'm a people person. I'm a people pleaser. I love working with troops. I love it,
Good
and I
deal.
miss it. Miss the camaraderie as well.
Yeah,
Sure.
surely. So how long did you stay in for?
20 years and 20 days.
Okay.
I went in on February 11th, 1992, and I retired on February 29th, 2012, which is actually a leap year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, while you were in, was there anybody influential figure for you?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, before I even joined, the reason I joined the Navy as opposed to the Army or the Marines or the Air Force was my grandfather was a World War II Navy man.
Okay.
And he was a water tender or a boiler tech, one or the other, I forget which, or a tender, I forget which. He was a World War II Navy man.
Okay.
So he was the reason I joined the Navy. And then while I was in, I had a couple really solid BU-1s. BU-1 Mike Esposito, great guy. We still keep in contact to this day on Facebook. Jerry Baker and George Freese. All three of these guys are BU-1s that were really, really big in my career. Really, they were my mentors. I was their proteges. Excuse me.
And what was it like a day in the life for you while you were there?
Sure. I started off. Well, I did my boot camp in Orlando, Florida, which was really hard. Yeah, they used to. Not anymore. It's only Great Lakes now. There was one in Orlando, one in San Diego, and one in Great Lakes. Now it's only Great Lakes.
Okay.
Yep, but that was really hard. Yeah, right. Yeah, Orlando. It was like a resort. And I went to A school in Gulfport, Mississippi, which I didn't really. Yeah, been there, done that. Yeah, good. And did my first battalion, which was NMCD 133 in Gulfport as well. I deployed to my first point was to Guam, 92.
Okay.
Got recalled for a Typhoon Omar that hit over there, so I got recalled off of leave to come back to Guam. Then Road to Spain was next. Diego Garcia and Camp David was my final tour with 133.
Don't you?
It was great. Camp David was awesome.
Good.
TSSCI clearance. It was wonderful. I loved it up there in the Catoctin Mountains of Maryland. It was beautiful.
Right.
Yep.
When did you move to Florida?
About 2 years ago, I moved down here.
Okay.
I was living out in Washington State. My second wife passed away from COVID-19 out in Washington State, so there was nothing to keep me out there. She had family out there. I moved to Florida. My brother, my sister, my mom and dad all live here in the Pinellas Park area, or the Pinellas County area. So,
Okay.
yeah,
So it's still fairly new here.
absolutely. Yeah, but I love it here. We're not moving at all. My wife and I love it.
Yeah.
We live in Clearwater, and we love Clearwater. We love Pinellas County and Tampa too. There's so much going on. It's a blast. We love it.
So when it was time for your ETS and you got out, you didn't dangle another bar in front of you, try to stick around and re-up again?
No. I hit my higher tenure, which is as an E6 as a first class. It's my higher tenure. But it was great though, because my last command, I did 2 tours with the Naval Support Unit State Department. My first tour, I was TDY, and I hit I've been over 50 countries total. So I hit a lot of countries when I was TDY. I was posted in Roslyn, Virginia, which is outside of Washington, D.C., and I was TDY out of there. So I hit Cairo, Egypt, Karachi, Pakistan, Port-au-Prince, Haiti, Saudi Arabia, Dubai. I was all over the place. Frankfurt, Germany. I was all over the place. Lima, Peru. Got to check out Machu Picchu and the government dime, which was phenomenal. And rode a camel in Egypt and Cairo, the Giza pyramids. That was phenomenal. So, and then my second tour, I retired out of Frankfurt, Germany.
Yeah.
But our op tempo was 80% of the time we were on the road, which was great. So I had my second wife over there, of course, and it was phenomenal. We hit everything we could, and took her to Paris, France for Valentine's Day. Took her to Prague, Czech Republic for her first deployment, if you will. It was phenomenal.
Her first deployment.
Exactly, it was phenomenal.
Was it her first ride on a C-130 also?
No.
Okay.
I flew over. I had her come over on the train, which was great. It was perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember taking my wife on a hop before.
Sure.
Not all put
Never
up to
again.
me.
Never again. You look up at a C-130, you see the wires going back and forth on the fuselage. You're like, no way.
Very quiet in there too.
Yeah, right. You have to wear earplugs. Bench seat.
Yeah,
Sure.
exactly. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Comfort, all comforts.
Oh,
first
yeah.
class. So let me ask, while you served, what other benefits, other than obviously seeing the world and taking full advantage of the travel part?
Sure.
Were there any other benefits that you took advantage of through them?
Absolutely. The leadership I had was phenomenal, and it gave me a strong work ethic. I mean, where I come from, my family's had a really strong work ethic as it is, and being in the military, being in the battalion, being in the Bees really helped define that. I had some really awesome leaders, and they helped kind of put the hone on the knife edge, if you will. Which the Marines have a saying. They say steel sharpens steel.
Yep.
And when I'm around good guys, they just kind of good leaders, good guys. Everything. I don't hang around with bad people. I hang around with good people.
Absolutely.
And steel sharpens steel is what I'm trying to say. It's just a good bunch of good people everywhere I go.
Very good. Did you take advantage of maybe like the GI Bill or any
No,
loans yet or anything like that?
I didn't, honestly. I never went to college, and I just, but I took a lot of advantage of like the MWR opportunities and stuff like that. I played hockey off and on since I was 5 years old, mostly off now because I'm getting too old for it. I'm 52, so I'm a little too old for it now. But I love it, David. I love it. I love hockey. My brother and my father they have season tickets to the Bolts, so they just pretty much give them to us to use during the weekday because they don't go. They have to go on the weekends, which is fine for us. Works out great for us. Exactly. So if you want to go to a Bolts game, we'll be in touch. We'll be in touch, David. Absolutely.
That works.
Absolutely. And we like to check out the Rays as well. And there's so much to do and see around here. We like to go to concerts and just do all do a little bar hopping here and there, stuff like that. There's so many good breweries around here. It's wonderful.
Yeah, there is.
We love it. We love it here.
That's great to hear.
It's awesome.
We'll talk about that another time.
Absolutely.
If you could do it all over again, would you? And what would you do different?
No, I would do everything. I would do everything the same. That if I had to do it over again. There's sometimes I think back. I wish I would have gone to the Air Force because the Air Force has a program called Red Horse, which is the same thing. It's more or less the same thing as the Seabees, and they also have Prime Beef, which is their not the civilian side. They stay stateside, but I want to be deployed, so I would have gone Red Horse.
Gotcha.
But no, I wouldn't change a thing because I love the Seabees. It was the best movie I ever made. You can have a small town and have so many great leaders and so many people working with me. It was just phenomenal. It was phenomenal, David. Yeah, I loved it. I still love it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Were there any challenges you faced on a certain deployment or something that came in that just kind of stuck with you? That like, hey, well, there was that one time.
Sure. When my first one, Typhoon Omar, the typhoon, we had another typhoon that went by right after that one. So I checked in. They're like, "Hey, welcome, boot," because we call the new guys boot camps. They're like, here's a National Defense Service ribbon, and also here's a humanitarian ribbon, humanitarian medal. And I was like, "Holy cow! This is my second medal. I mean, 2 medals right off the bat." So that was really cool. Another time that was kind of a challenge for me was 9/11. I actually was supposed to fly to I believe it was St. Petersburg, Russia, on 9/11. And we all know what happened on 9/11. And I always told my parents what day I was flying on, but I never told them what time I was flying. So I actually got through. I finally was able to get through to my father, and I'm a little choked up when I tell this story, but I was able to get through to my father, and finally. And he's like, Mike, your mother's absolutely in hysterics. She's actually hysterical right now because she thought you might have been on one of those planes. And I'm like, no, I'm alive, Pop. Thank you God, I'm alive. And but I'm supposed to fly to St. Pete out of Dulles Airport, and that's the first time my father and I told each other we loved each other a very long time, and it really that hit home. That always hits home. That story right there. So
I'm sure it does.
Yeah.
Now on the flip side of that, if there was a moment that you could sit there and say, "Wow, that stays with you forever,"
Sure.
That's like the top 3 of the story.
Sure.
What image pops in your head?
Absolutely, yeah. That'd be the Naval Support Unit State Department. My embassy duty was just phenomenal. It was phenomenal. Being in Frankfurt, Germany, being TDY out of there, being TDY the first time with the NSU was just phenomenal. And I mean, all the countries I got to hit. Like I said, I've been over 50 countries. The only 2 continents I have not been to are Antarctica and Australia. So it's a lifelong dream of mine to hit those two continents before I pass away. So I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it.
Australia's my list.
That's what I hear you, brother. I hear you, David. Absolutely, absolutely.
No, so what is it when you transition, when you separated? What did you wind up doing when you
Sure,
came out?
sure. It's a funny story. I actually started off when I first got out, or when I first retired. I went to work for one of my favorite clothing companies. It's called Eddie Bauer, and we were living in Hampton, Virginia, and I was working up in Williamsburg, Virginia, at the outlet, Eddie Bauer outlet up there. So it was really fun. I wasn't making squat, but I didn't have to make squat because I had my pension and the VA and stuff like that, so it was fine. But I really enjoyed it. But I'm like, this isn't really where I want to end up. So after that, I picked up a gig with it's called Construction Outfitters International. It's construction, and that's about as far as I can go with that because they work for a certain acronym up in Langley, Virginia, up in McLean, Virginia. So yeah, that's about as far as I can go with that.
Fine with that.
But it was great. It was a great gig. We were working 7 days a week, about 10 to 12 hours a day. It was great money. But I just, it was one of those things. Yeah, but it was great. My wife and I are fully retired right now. She retired from Puget Sound Energy out in Washington State, and I retired from the Bees. And life is good. We're living. We're not rich by any stretch of the imagination, but we're super comfortable.
You're happy.
Yeah, we're very happy, David. Very happy. That's the biggest thing. Absolutely, brother.
Sure enough.
Sure.
Now, any kids of your own yet?
No, we don't have any kids. No,
So-
Debbie has never had any kids. I don't have any kids. Honestly, we can't have any kids, so that's fine with us. I never wanted kids. I'm a big kid myself.
Yeah,
So.
I hear that.
Right.
So, if you were staring in front of a younger person and they were contemplating the military, what kind of trajectory would you put them on?
Well, I definitely put them towards the Seabees first, of course. If they had a desire to work in construction, definitely. But definitely the Navy. I love the Navy. Big Navy. I love it. Like I said, it's the best thing I ever did. I know there's a lot of situations going on right now in the world. The world's in turmoil, but it's one of those things you got to step up to the plate. I've done 5 combat tours. Some of them were better than others. I've been shot at in direct fire. It's no fun, but when you sign that dotted line, you got to step up to the plate. So it is what it is. Yeah,
And that's the important part.
Absolutely.
A lot of people don't get that today.
Absolutely, David. You're absolutely right about that.
100%.
It separates the men from the boys out there. Yep, absolutely.
Sure enough. So let me ask, where do you see yourself for the next 5, 10 years?
Probably in the same spot in Clearwater. We're not moving anywhere.
Yeah.
We're staying here. We love it. We really love it. We love the hockey team. We love the baseball team. I don't follow football that much. I've been to one Bucks game, thanks to Club 214, which I love. Club 214, I got to give them a plug also. That's been the best thing to happen to me since the marriage of my wife, actually. And since my career in the Navy. I mean, this is like, I'm not going to say it's an extension of the military because it's not, but I miss that camaraderie so much, and it's so good to have the camaraderie back again.
And they do so many good events.
They do. They're so incredible. So incredible. I love Paul. I love Allison. Maddie's awesome. Yeah, they're great people. Great people. And Robert and Jennifer are great people also.
Of course.
I've met so many good people through the club. It's just, and it's true friendships.
Yeah.
There's no BS. There's no drama. It's true. It's a true friendship.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. I love it.
Good.
Yeah.
He's definitely a good ambassador for them.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, David. I appreciate that, buddy.
Of course.
Thank you.
Well, is there anything else that you'd like to add, or a piece that you'd like to leave? Because these books are going to be archived. So at some point, someone's going to come back and they're going to rummage through and find your videos. Is there part of a time that you want to leave impressed upon those in the future that are going to be looking at this?
No, just like to say God bless America and God bless our armed forces. That's really about it. I'm happy to do this. I'm flattered. Honestly, I'm flattered, David. Thank you so much for this invitation.
My pleasure.
This opportunity.
Well, this is what it's all about. It's just getting the people to know the people behind the uniform. It's not always about the war story.
Sure.
That's been beat up a bunch of different times. This is about the human behind the uniform.
Absolutely.
And what it is they do in the community. So
absolutely.
With that, Steven, I want to say thanks so much. It's been a pleasure just talking with you. Thank you for your service. Thanks for your courage to sign the piece of paper when others chose not to. So
thank you.
And we'll see you soon, I'm sure.
I look forward to it.
All right, buddy.
Absolutely. God bless. Thank you, sir.